Nope. Mm-mm. No. No. No.
Hey everyone, I'm Adam Maker, and welcome back. If you'll allow me, let me take you back to 2019, a year before the world essentially ended and time ceased to exist. We would get a daring and bold revisioning of Superman. No, not you. What would happen if Superman was bad? Nope, not you either. No! It's not the boys! I'm talking about Brightburn. Brightburn, as I said, is from 2019, starring Roy from The Office and Betty Brant. It was produced by James Gunn and written by his cousin Mark Gunn and his brother... No, not that one. Yeah, that one. So as I said, Brightburn asked the question, what if Superman was evil? I get it! Yeah, it's not that original. DC themselves have done this story many times, to the point where it's kind of a joke. And yeah, shows like The Boys ask a similar question, with one major difference between Homelander and Brandon, or Brightburn, which I don't think they ever actually call him in this, but it takes place in Brightburn, Kansas, so that's how we get the name at least. The main difference is that in Brightburn, we see Brandon as a kid. We see his upbringing in rural America on a farm. Whereas with Homelander, we see him as an adult, and the few glimpses we see of his childhood, we learn that he was raised in a lab. So in Brightburn, we explore what would happen if an alien crash-landed on Earth and was raised on a farm, and instead of becoming the symbol of hope and Americana, he became a murderous child who would put Isaac to shame. Too weird of a reference? Maybe? Yeah, that's basically what Brightburn is. What if Superman was evil? As a child. There you go. I'm going to assume that if you clicked on a video titled Brightburn is Better Than You Remember, that you at least know the basics of what the film is about, but if you forgot, allow me to jog your memory. The film starts and we see Tori and Kyle Breyer, a young couple that lives in Brightburn. Hey, that's the name of the movie. Kansas, and from visual storytelling we see that the couple are having fertility issues and seemingly can't have children. And then they hear a crash, and then the film cuts to 10 years in the future, and we meet Brandon, a seemingly normal kid who also just happens to be an alien. But then one night the ship calls to Brandon. From what I can gather, it's like Brandon was a sleeper agent and the ship set his code word to activate his killing ways. That's just the plot to American Ultra. Brandon is also bullied at school and begins stalking a girl named Caitlin and even kills her mom, which if you ask me is a very bad first impression on his part, but that's just me. But Brandon seemingly gets more powerful and understands that he isn't just powerful, he is the apex predator, taunting his victims before he eventually kills them. He did it with Caitlin's mom, Erica, and his uncle, Noah. He also dons a kind of scary but also kind of a silly mask, but in the darkness, it does look pretty intimidating. But yeah, pretty much Brandon is told by the ship to conquer the world. Ooh, spooky. Surprisingly, Kyle is able to pick up that Brandon is responsible for all the murders, so he tries to kill Brandon. To which Brandon lasers his skull into mush. You know what? He might actually grow up to be Homelander. But after that, Brandon enters Genghis Khan mode while his mom is like, "My son is a good boy." No, he's not. In the end, Brandon kills a couple of cops and kills his mom after she realizes he's the one doing all the killings, and she tries to kill him, so he flies her high up into the air and drops her to her death. And then he takes down a goddamn airplane, killing everyone on board. Man, I guess you could say Brandon is the bad guy. Also, this movie is technically in the same universe as Super. Okay, so why is it better than you remember? Well, first off, I want to mention the acting. David Denman and Elizabeth Banks, Kyle and Tori are actually pretty good. I know I was joking about it being Roy from The Office and Betty Brant, but in all reality, David Denman and Elizabeth Banks are actually really good. Specifically, Elizabeth Banks playing a mother torn between seeing her child as the true monster that he is, and a mother trying to stop her child from being the monster. Her performance is truly enthralling. David Denman is also giving a strong performance as a father who just wants his son to be normal, while also seeing what a true monster his son has become. Not only that, but Jackson A. Dunn, the kid who plays Brandon, is doing a pretty good job of playing an outcast kid who seems like he is also very unhinged. His performance in the early parts of the movie do leave a lot to be desired, I will admit, but when he is able to let loose as an unhinged psychopath, he shines brighter than starlight. I'm sorry for all the boys references. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Emmy Hunter, who plays Caitlin, the girl that Brandon seemingly has a crush on but also seems like he wants to kill. She does a great job of playing just this truly, terrified person that is seeing what Brandon is doing. And when Brandon's messing with her, I truly feel bad for her. And besides the acting, there's some pretty good effects, for the most part. I'm not the first person to mention the CGI in this film is kind of all over the place. In some scenes it looks phenomenal, and in others it's whatever this lawnmower scene is. But a part of the film that seems to go unmentioned by pretty much everyone I've seen talk about this movie, they kind of just ignored the practical effects. While the practical effects aren't as prominent as the CGI ones, the practical effects do shine in some of the kill scenes, specifically the steering wheel scene. The film also does a great job on building tension and the horror elements that are in it. In early parts of the film, before Brandon goes on this murderous rampage, the tension in the film is pretty good. The build up to when Brandon is awakened by the ship, that scene where he's pulling on the door is actually very well done, and thankfully, it's not ruined by a cheap jump scare sound effect. It's just allowed to breathe and let the tension build to a payoff that isn't, again, a cheap nothing sound effect. And then we come to the best part of the film, which is Brandon's murderous rampage. It's the best part of the film because he just lets loose and just goes apeshit on everyone. Whether it's the scene where Erica is killed at the restaurant, which by the way is a gut-wrenching scene where she pulls glass out of her eye. Ugh, so gross. The steering wheel scene is still just one of the most gut-wrenching scenes where his uncle just eats the steering wheel. I cringe every single time I see it. And all of these scenes just show that Brandon doesn't just realize he's powerful, he fully understands that he is the apex predator and he is just having fun toying with his prey. The tension built up for all of these scenes is so good. Plus at the end where Brandon just lets loose and kills pretty much everyone is so beautifully violent. The ruthlessness of it all is just so insane to watch. Like I said, Brandon is the apex predator, and the fact he knows it makes it all the more scary for everyone involved. The kid takes down an airplane, for God's sake. Okay, listen. I know this film has issues. The pacing could be better as it is a bit fast. Plus, there's a few more, but I wanted to shine a light on the good things in this film because it feels like to me that most people have a negative connotation when it comes to this movie. Personally, I think the acting is really good for the most part. The effects, specifically the practical ones, are insanely good. And Brandon is utterly terrifying as this apex predator killer alien. If you watched this movie when it first came out and didn't care for it, which I'll admit I was in that boat, I implore you to give it a second chance, and if you were turned off to it because of the mixed reviews, please just give it another chance. It's at times a very fun, but also it can be very scary. So with everything that I've said, I have to give this movie a very nice 7 out of 10.